Hi friends, I'm Ashley and welcome back to my channel and to the start of another reading vlog. So in today's video, we are going to be reading a book that I am really excited for. I've been really looking forward to reading this one, and that is Arcana Academy by Elise Kova. And this is a dark academia fantasy romance that came out this past July. And in this one, our main character is a woman who wields magical tarot cards, and she ends up landing herself in a false engagement with the headmaster of a mysterious academy. And so I'm really excited to hop into this. And today is Sunday, October 5th, and so I'm going to be reading this week. This is a pretty long book. It's almost 600 pages, so I'm just going to take my time reading this during the week. And I'm going to take you along with me on my reading adventure. And so without further ado, I'm going to go hop right into this, and I'll be back once I've read some and I have some thoughts. Hi, so I am back with a reading update, and so I've made it to chapter 29, page 255, and so far I'm enjoying this book. So let me first tell you a little bit more about the story, and then I'll share my thoughts so far. So the story opens with our main female character, Clara, being in prison. She is currently in the most infamous and feared prison of their world, and she has been there for almost a year at this point. And she was sent there because she got caught selling, inking, and using tarot cards, which it's illegal to do those things if you have not yet graduated from Arcana Academy. And at the beginning of the story, she ends up being visited and interrogated by the second prince of their kingdom, Prince Kalis. And after interrogating her, he informs her that she is going to be executed at sunset. Clara, however, refuses to die, and so she tries to escape the prison. But in the process of doing so, she falls unconscious. And when she wakes back up again, she finds herself at none other than Arcana Academy. It just so happens that the headmaster of Arcana Academy is Prince Kalis. And Prince Kalis informs her that she will attend the academy as a student and pose as his fiancée. But while she does so, she will also help him try to find a legendary tarot card called the World. And so Clara is not happy with this arrangement, but she doesn't really have a choice. So she reluctantly agrees with the hopes that while she stays at the academy, she'll be able to find out what happened to her sister and be able to uncover the truth behind her mother's death. And so our story goes from there. So now for my thoughts. So my favorite parts of the book so far, and the parts that have kept me wanting to read the book and turning the pages, have been the magic system and the world building, specifically the setting of Arcana Academy. And so the magic system revolves around tarot cards, and there are major and minor arcana, but people can only ink and use minor arcana and not major arcana. And there are 4 different types of minor arcana, and they are cups, swords, coins, and wands. And each suit from 2s to kings has its own unique magical properties. For example, the page of coins grants the user expertise in one task for the day. But the aces are the primordial essence of the suit, and so each suit is governed by a certain element. Wands are fire, swords are air, coins earth, and cups fire. And in addition, each tarot card can only be used once, and so that's why arcanists, the people that use tarot card magic, have to know how to ink cards. And in addition, each suit requires its own special ink that's made from a certain powder. But the exception to this rule is Clara. Clara is able to ink any suit with any type of ink. And the skill of the artist determines the power of the card. And then in addition to knowing how to ink cards, you also have to know how to wield them. And the way they wield cards in this book is really cool. And how they duel with the cards is definitely giving me like Yu-Gi-Oh vibes. And so in order for Arcanists to learn these skills, how to ink, how to wield, how to read tarot cards, they have to go to Arcana Academy. And anyone with Arcanist abilities has to report to Arcana Academy the year after they turn 20 years old. If you do not report to the Academy, you will be hunted down. And then upon arrival, you have to take a test in order to enter the Academy. And this test is like very brutal, very intense, and it involves sacrificing one of your possible futures in order to enter the Academy. And if you fail this test, then you are branded and you are sent essentially to a work camp where you will be worked to the bone until you die. And this academy feels like a mix between Hogwarts and the War College of Fourth Wing. So similar to Hogwarts, students are divided into different houses based on certain qualities and characteristics. But unlike Hogwarts, students are not automatically sorted into these houses. Instead, they have to prove themselves and have to be invited to join these houses. And so, like the War College of Fourth Wing, the first year is full of trials and danger and the possibility of death for these first year students. And also adding to the intensity is that each house can only accept so many students, and the number of open seats in the houses this year is less than the number of new potential students. So it's a guarantee that some people will fail. So far, those are my favorite parts of the book, where the book has really been shining for me. Now, in contrast, the weakest part of the book, and the part of the book that I haven't really been enjoying so far for me, has been the romance between Clara and Kalis. So the romance is an enemies to lovers, and just like so far, it hasn't really been clicking for me. And so far, it just kind of feels like a bunch of other enemies to lovers fantasy romances that I've read before, and it hasn't really done anything yet to distinguish itself from those other fantasy romances. And usually, like, my favorite part of enemies to lovers romance is the banter between the two characters. So far, the banter between Kalis and Clara hasn't really been hitting for me, and I haven't really been enjoying it that much. And I think part of this is also stemming from the fact that Clara as a character, she just like recently clicked with me like 54 pages ago, so it took like 200 pages for her character to really click with me, which is a while. And it took a while for her to click with me because at the beginning of the book, she feels very similar to other main female characters of other fantasy romances that I've read before. For example, her situation and her personality at the beginning remind me very much of Selena from Throne of Glass. And also, I feel like the romance isn't really clicking with me because similarly, I also don't really have any strong feelings or attachment to Kalis yet. Again, he just reminds me of a lot of other male love interests from a lot of other fantasy romance books that I've read before. In contrast, I really like the scenes where Clara is interacted with side characters in this book. So this book has a lot of side characters, and I love side characters, and I love how many different and interesting ones are in this book so far. And I feel like it's through her interactions with these side characters that I am starting to form an attachment to Clara. And one of my favorite side characters so far is Silas. The scenes with him and Clara have really made me come to like her more as a character. And so we have side characters who are students at the academy, but we also have side characters who are Clara's found family of sorts. And I really enjoy her interactions with them so far as well. And I feel like her interactions with them have also helped me come to like her more as a character. And so those are all my thoughts so far. I am very interested in learning more about the magic system and seeing more of Arcana Academy, and also seeing Clara interact more with the side characters. And I'm also hoping that I will come to enjoy the romance more than I have been as well. Hi, so I'm here with a reading update, a reading check-in, because it has been quite a while since my last check-in because it's now Sunday, October 19th. So I am now on chapter 49, page 458, And I actually haven't picked this up for 3 or 4 days because today I just got back from an anime convention. So I've been at an anime convention the last couple of days. So my husband and I, we left on Thursday and then we came back today. And leading up to the convention, I was busy on getting all my cosplays ready. And so I thought I would be able to finish this before then, but that stuff kind of just took over and was more of a priority because I had a strict deadline to get that stuff done. But now I'm back and I am ready to finish this. And so that is what I'm going to do tonight because I have a little under 100 pages left in this, so I can definitely finish this tonight. And I'm at the point where the romance has finally clicked for me. So I know I said in my earlier update that I wasn't quite feeling the romance, that it wasn't clicking, but it has finally clicked and I'm so happy about that. And it clicked for me around page 380. And the romance is very much a slow burn, and so I think that's part of why it took so long for it to click with me. And also, in this book, there's just so much going on, so like, the romance isn't really the main focus, and actually there's a lot of times when our main female character, Clara, and Kalis aren't even, like, in the same scene. And so they're not, like, always together in the book, and so I think that's another reason that it took so long for the romance to click with me. But, as I said, I'm at the point where I'm now enjoying the romance, and I'm also enjoying the banter now. Like, I wasn't earlier, but now I am, and I'm so happy because there have been moments now that, like, reading the banter just makes me giddy, and that's how good banter should make me feel. So I'm gonna go finish this up now, and then I'll be back with my final thoughts. Thanks, thanks. The romance is being angsty, and I love angst. What does that mean? So I just finished this, and the last line of this book, what even was that? The last line of this is so good. And now, like, I need the next book, like, right now because of that last line. Like, the last, like, 60 pages of this were just such a ride. Like, everything was so intense. The romance was just so angsty in these last, like, 60 pages, and I love angst, so I really enjoyed it. But also, the found family in here was really, really strong, and I think that was even better than the romance in here. So I feel like the romance for me started off kind of not very strong for me personally. I didn't really enjoy the romance in the beginning, but by the end of this, I really enjoyed the romance. But the found family in here, I enjoyed the found family in here from like the very beginning of the book. And I really enjoyed seeing Clara's relationship with her found family and also her making friends at the academy and them kind of becoming like another sort of found family for her as well. And I felt like Clara's character really shined when she was interacting with people that she cared about. And so I'm going to be giving this 4 stars because I ended up really enjoying it. I definitely enjoyed like the second half of this more than the first half of it. The first half, I enjoyed the magic system and the world building right from the very first pages of this, and I think that the magic system is still like my favorite part of this book. I just find the tarot card magic very fascinating, and also the fight scenes with the tarot cards are just so cool to read and fun. And at the beginning of the book, I didn't really have a strong attachment to Clara, but by the end of this book, I did feel really connected to her, and now I'm like very invested in her character, and I want to know what's going to happen next to her, to everyone else, to the romance, to the plot. My gosh, the plot, there's so much going on in this book, and there are some big revelations towards the end of this book, and now I just have so many questions. And so I'll definitely be reading the second book to find out what's going to happen next and what's going to happen to these characters. And so, yeah, those are all my thoughts on Arcana Academy. Let me know down below if you read it, what you thought about it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.